very special round on what was that, Thursday of this week. We got to play TPC Craig Ranch, which is the home of the Byron Nelson tournament, and it's really hard to gauge on TV how well maintained these courses are. I don't think, honestly, even watching today, I was kind of mentally just making notes like, okay, usually you see this on TV and it doesn't look as good as what we experienced
Right.
in person this week. And, one thing that's completely underrated is, and I keep saying this to people, is that if you're in the fairway at one of these professional courses, you have a perfect lie every single time, no doubt about it. And yeah, there were some, divots out there, but honestly, when you look at it and how it's taken care of compared to your average municipal course, untouchable. It was ridiculous. One other thing I would like to say: greens were not kind of tournament ready. They had punched and sanded, but even there, I would say
Right.
their version of sanding greens pretty damn good. I mean, you knew they worked on them, but a bunch of humps and bumps and all stumbles and all that jazz that you see at your local muni, not at all. You can tell your local muni to go buy some more sand and when they're when
Right.
they're punching because they're not doing it right. It was pretty incredible, despite them working on the course, even how smooth they still rolled. Not as fast, but definitely smooth. But tell us your experience out there and what stood out to you in that venue.
We had a Forecaddie. Forecaddie was great. Shout out to Taylor. If you ever just come across this, was a super nice guy. I mean, he kept us light. We didn't ever really get too overboard or anything like that when we had bad holes. Me personally, I had a bad front, came back and I actually looked like a golfer, the back nine. But I mean, it was all what Rod was just referring to. If you put yourself in a position to score or put yourself in a position to play golf, you will have the best opportunity to get it done. And a lot of the flags that they had set up were very accessible, something that you would look for to score on if you were able to score. But a
Yeah.
lot of times, we play for a little chunk of change. Nothing much to talk about, but something to keep the game competitive. And every now and again, you try to make the hero shot. You can't do that out here. There are no out hero shots. Um, you better be in shape for that for that rough. I mean, it's just
Oh
crazy
yeah.
because you're
It was
just so
thick.
many situations where the four caddy would see the ball off the face. We had a foursome. We all were pretty much intent on watching where the golf ball landed, some general area of where it went, and sometimes we still couldn't find the ball. Walked right by the ball.
And you have to be at the right angle to
You
see
got to be at
it,
the
or if it was the grass was laying over it. Even on the first hole, our one of our playing partners that we invited um, could not find his ball. We all saw it settle down or hit
right.
kind of just in the fringe cut,
I
and
mean,
could
like
not
five
find
feet
that ball.
max, 5 feet max off the
He was
fairway type stuff.
yes, fringe, and it was tough to find. So,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have delusions of grandeur that, they see these courses on TV and see how the pros handle it, and it is more than meets the eye. I mean, it is very
absolutely.
difficult to play one of these courses. And I know even, I've played a TPC course previously in Tampa, and it was very similar in conditions. I wouldn't say it was as good as TPC Craig Ranch. The layout was a lot more interesting at this location versus, Tampa's overall pretty kind of flat. There weren't, a lot of, ups and downs and, things that were visually screwy. But
Yeah,
this course had a lot of undulation. But again, it played fair. I think that's the
it
number
was
one
fair.
thing.
It was fair
If you
for
were
sure.
able to get it on the fairway, it was very fair. It wasn't overly long. We played like a combo of tees called the Craig Ranch tees. So you had some what would be considered like the blue tees. You'd move up a little bit for the silver or white on certain holes, but still played about 6,400 yards and was very challenging. No need to try to tip it out, which they gave you the option. I mean, they said you could pick what you wanted to play,
Yeah.
They didn't force you or ask handicaps and try to do that. But I guess this is a good transition into how did we actually get to play. So it's easier than you think. If you guys out there have a Mastercard, then you qualify. They say it's supposed to be like a World Mastercard, but really, I use my Apple Card, which is qualified as a Mastercard, to book the experience on the Priceless website that's tied to MasterCards. You just select which course you want to play, and it does have a pretty wide network of the TPC courses. They have some other ones that are outside of that as well. That includes TPC Deer Run, where the John Deere was played. I just double check that.
Yeah.
Pretty wide ranging, although in DFW there's two TPC courses, Las Colinas and Craig Ranch, which we played. Las Colinas chooses not to participate in the kind of MasterCard priceless experiences. But, for a day, you get treated like a member. There's no exceptions. They welcome you in. The dude did ask me at check-in, oh, you're not using your MasterCard because I chose to use a different card. But overall, super fun experience. You don't feel like you're intruding on kind of the whole, atmosphere of the members. But yeah, I mean, they book it for you. You tell them what days you want to play and what your options are. They call the course directly. Again, the Forecaddie was required. They recommend the tip. They send you a cool, cordial email, kind of solidifying your details. They did want to know which four players would be playing in their names. So for check-in, just to make it easier and make sure that no one that shouldn't be there, showed up. But
Yep.
overall, pretty damn easy. I mean, and that's just with having a MasterCard. And I was kind of looking around at some of the variability. So TPC Sawgrass is also an option on there. So we paid, I think the round was like 175 plus tax, Forecaddie included. But TPC Sawgrass, $675. Mm, steep. So they're not all priced the same. We were probably on the lower end. I think that's like the baseline. And some TPC courses get a short end of the stick, and they get criticized for the layouts that they're kind of ho hum. But I think there are some really good ones in the mix. The PGA Tour plays quite a few. TPC courses throughout the year.
Yeah.
So if you've ever found any of them interesting and they're in your area or you're traveling, that's an easy way to get in, and you can play these once a year and then swing around and do it all over again next year after that calendar is up. So just a quick way to get in and have an experience, and again, treat yourself and play a higher end golf course that maybe you didn't even think you could get on. So super cool experience. I would definitely do it again, and looking to maybe make some future trips to places where I can get in on a TPC course and kind of
Definitely.
experience that all over again. So